Right, hopefully I can shoot this in one go, or one take. Not really what I wanted to see dismantled on my recording desk. This is, well, the motherboard from my computer and the CPU there. As you can tell, something has gone tits up, and I mean a catastrophe has happened, and I think the computer has decided that it wanted to commit die. Which is really actually not very good, especially at this time. So, yeah, the last video I edited was the last NFT thing. I edited it, got it out. It was like 4 in the morning. I was editing it anyway. The computer had been on like almost all day, and I use this computer every day. And to be fair, it's never really had many problems, bar when Windows 10, when I used to have that, it ended up just dying from the inside out for whatever reason. Anyway, that was a while ago. It's never really had any problems, but yeah, I shut it down at about 5 a.m. A couple of nights ago, and then come 12 p.m. the next day, I go to turn it on, nothing. Literally nothing. You push the button, nothing happens. And if I messed around with the power supply, obviously that's the main power supply. This is my old one I've been using to test. That's my main power supply. At first I thought maybe that had gone, or the switch on the motherboard had gone. But yeah, say if you reset it, all the keyboard lights and stuff would be on, because obviously it's getting power through, as they always produce some power. And as soon as you push the button to turn the computer on, all the peripheral stuff would turn off. The microphone, keyboard, it would turn off. So as soon as I push the power button, dead. The power supply unit will shut off. So suggesting there's a fault somewhere it doesn't like. So yeah. So obviously I started disconnecting things, taking everything out in case any USBs are causing the problem. I disconnected literally everything, nothing. I've taken out the RAM, the GPU, the NVMEs. I first took out all the hard drives and storage devices because I cannot afford to lose any of that data. I have terabytes of stuff, and some of it's backed up, some of it's not. I've been meaning to make backups, and of course this would do this before I've actually got around to making them big backups, because storage costs quite a bit of money, especially with the amount I try to store. So yeah, I've been trying to fault find it, and I think I've been pretty thorough with it. I mean, we're down to the point where I literally just have the motherboard out on a bit of cardboard with the power supplies. What do we do? Well, I started by bridging out the 2 pins for the switch to check if it was the switch on the case. Again, it just does the same stuff. I took the power supply unit out and I bridged the 2 pins on that, which that runs fine. I tested it with a load. I plugged some 12-volt LEDs into it. That all seemed to run fine as well. Putting something in them. Shorting out the on pins, that does come on. The fan doesn't run all the time, but I think that's just the power supply's design. If I get some LEDs, so I have a whole row of LEDs here, which I just thought, that'd draw probably a good 5, maybe 6 amps. So I thought that'd be a pretty good test to see if it works. So 5 volts, there's a 5 volt feed, not 5 volt, 12 volt feed from that one to that one. If I put that from there to there, as you can see, we get perfect amount of light. That works fine. I've loaded it up for a bit and there was no problems with that at all. So as far as I can tell, the power supply is working all fine. So that's annoying. So the issue probably isn't related to the power supply. I took out all the stuff, the GPU and all that, still wouldn't boot. Disconnected the CPU power, nothing. All the peripherals, nothing. I took out all the RAM but one, all the RAM sticks but one, nothing. Tried another RAM stick in case it was that, nothing. And we're sort of down to this level of, I can't tell now if it's the CPU or the motherboard, or both, if it's ended up killing both in the process. Literally, I shut it down, no problems. A few hours later, went to turn it on, dead, as if someone's like purposely short-circuited it. What's even more strange is, I mean, I can't even see it being like a power surge or power cut, because I have backup. I have a backup UPS uninterruptible power supply on the computer, so it's pretty well, you know, secured or protected from any surge. At least it has surge protection, unless that's failed or something. But it hasn't killed the power supply. It's something to do, I assume, with this end. Let me show you what's happening. I'm sort of at a loss, really. I don't know whether to... I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm hopeless with computers. I'm not very good on software, but the hardware stuff I'm a bit better with. And obviously... Oh, and I've had a multimeter to all the pins as well. I checked every single pin, and it all had the right sort of voltages and outputs. The purple pin had 5, or the cable had 5 and all that, and the grey pin, I think it was 5 volt it needed to suggest, or like, I think it puts out 5 volt and the power supply is happy to give out voltage or something. It all tested absolutely fine. But yeah, still no life with the motherboard. Right, what was I getting at? So the current stage of things is, if I turn power supply on, we get a rather horrible sort of noise from the power supply. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but this happens to both this old Corsair and my new one. They sit there making this kind of humming, ticking noise, and the light on there, I don't know if you can really see it, sits there flickering. It's flickering a lot quicker to the naked eye than it is on camera. And it does this all the time the CPU is connected. And it didn't actually used to do that. It used to just turn on and make no noise. So I don't know if in testing it, I've actually made the problem worse, which is really quite concerning. This happened after I reset the... This actually started happening after I reset the CMOS to try and see if that would solve anything, but obviously it didn't. So the only luck I've really had is when the CPU is out, disconnected, it stops flickering. The light stops flickering and the sound goes. And while that CPU is out, I can actually bridge with these still connected. Again, maybe this was a stupid idea. Maybe this is what did it. If I bridge the one to turn the power supply on, it does come on. Or at least the chipset fan runs. A horrible sounding chipset fan. But that's as far as I've got. In fact, if I bridge out the switch pins, when I disconnect this bridge here, it will immediately turn off. But if I bridge out those 2 pins, it'll actually stay on. Obviously, I'm reluctant to put anything back in it to actually see if it boots. And again, that's a bit of a... I can't really put a switch on that. And again, it doesn't actually shut... I don't know if it will shut down properly. I obviously can't just put a switch on that. So it's as if when you push the button, the motherboard immediately shorts or doesn't want to start. I don't know. It's like, I know it's obviously some kind of soft switch per se. Let's have that out now. Just noise for no reason. So you push the button and then whatever on the motherboard will go, oh, are we safe to boot? Yeah, okay, turn on. Unless that's not working, I don't know, unless there is a fault or a short somewhere that's causing problems. What's even more worrying though is this wasn't always doing this. If you actually seat the CPU in and do the same again, it doesn't really work. It just makes a horrible whining noise, like something's just... I mean, it could be me doing this, and to be honest, if it is, let me know. I could be just being really dumb. You bridge it now. I don't know how to really show this because I need to show the lights, really. Also need to not hit any of the buttons on the camera because I need this to be in one shot, this whole video. Because of course I can't edit. If I do that, it doesn't work at all now. Well, that's different. The power supply is running. I don't know if you heard that. That's again a different outcome. Normally I'd connect that and it try boots up, and the power supply makes this horrible kind of noise, and then it'll shut off again. No, back to that. So I don't know. I mean, it could be that there's actually a fault on something that's connected via the CPU. So it might not be the CPU at fault, or perhaps the CPU was at fault. Maybe the board's okay, but I can't get the board to really do any life with the CPU not in there. Or perhaps me testing it has buggered the CPU in the process. I mean, this is what normally happens. I get a bit carried away, believe I can do it all, and cock something up. I thought I was quite thorough and did it quite methodically and safely. I didn't really go touching it too much, but maybe, yeah, maybe bridging that out with it actually connects to the motherboard was the problem. Maybe I have made it worse, but that was the only thing I actually did that got any life or got me anywhere as to say what could be wrong. So I don't know what to do now. I feel like I've done everything that I can really do. I don't have another CPU to test. I don't have another motherboard to test the CPU, unless I want to take apart my brother's computer, but it's just not worth it, I don't think. And it's sort of come at a terrible time. I had loads of Hot Wheels videos lined up. I got a peg hunt that's just been left for nearly a month, a really ambitious one I haven't got round to being able to do. There's plenty of other things. I've been custom motors I need to get back on. I haven't been able to do the monthly haul. Any peg hunt videos, I can't edit. I hate editing on the phone. I don't have any real editing software on the phone anyway. So all the time the computer's down, that's it. And it comes at a time I've just spent a load of money on other things, like cars and that, keeping things going. I bought some interesting lights and stuff for my other channel that I really want to get the ball rolling on that channel, the Alston channel. Check it out if you're interested in some random light stuff. There's a few oddball things up there at the minute. I really want to get the ball rolling on that. I've done absolute crap loads of filming for it, hence why I've not done as much on the Hot Wheels channel, this one, and then it's all gone tits up really. Hopefully the hard drives are all fine, because I say there's so much storage, so much data. There's actually, I even transferred a load of footage over. Literally the night the night this was working, I transferred like another 200 gig worth of footage onto it. So hopefully all the drives are all right. I say they didn't really see any power or any flickers or anything, so they should be fine. I don't know. It's really annoying. So now I'm on a massive setback for that, and one of my busiest work weeks. Oh my god, I didn't even notice it was doing that. Didn't even know it had LEDs down there. You don't see them otherwise. Let's turn that off. There's no point having that on. So yeah, I don't know. If anything, I was going to upgrade. So, sorry. I can usually cut this stuttering out, but I can't now. So yeah, I don't know. If anyone is very tech savvy, let me know what you think. My current belief is I think the motherboard's fried somewhere, somehow. Because I even took it out, because some people said that they had issues with the risers or the seating and the screws of the motherboard causing shorts. But even when it's out, I still can't, it still doesn't work. The only thing I have kind of possibly noticed I'm not sure if it is or not, is there those brown marks there? I'm not sure if that's dirt or whether it's got moisture ingress. That's the only thing that I've really noticed. See around that screw? I suppose if it's off I can touch it. So unless it's something to do with that, but I'm not even sure what that would have come from. Unless a capacitor's vented something out there. Does that give me any life? I very much doubt it, but no. Immediately just cuts off again. So, yeah. I could try it with the CPU out, but that's what's worrying me, is I'm not getting any luck either or. CPU out, CPU in. It seems to be worse with the CPU in, but even out, it doesn't boot, don't do nothing. I say boot, doesn't power up or anything. But yeah, visually, I don't know. It would be nice to actually have a thermal camera to maybe see if anything's getting hot, if anything's shorted. But even then, even the plug-in ones for phones are pretty expensive for anything decent, and it's much more time. I haven't really got the time to be pissing around with this. I did debate maybe sending it off to someone. We know a few people, and my dad recommended that, but I feel like I've been pretty thorough. There could be something small I've missed. I mean, there could be something I've even done that I forgot to mention. Because I did very thoroughly go through it. I've been all over Reddit and on YouTube watching videos, but in my own personal belief, I've probably gone through this pretty well, but I'm now starting to wonder maybe... But I have seen that other people have bridged out, you know, that contact there and with the motherboard plugged in, so maybe I haven't done too much of a bad thing. I don't know. Anyway, this video is going to ramble on, so yeah, if you've got any ideas, let me know, but... Or at least just back me up here. Do you reckon it is the motherboard? Have I killed the CPU? From this point on, I'm not sure what to do. Especially that this motherboard, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know how I counted 11 before. I was like, oh, better cut that out. I can't cut that out. So yeah, 9 USBs, or did I say 8? Can't remember now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 USBs. I can't find many with more than 7. And I use all these USBs. I mean, I could unplug maybe the older controller or something, but I don't want to have to keep unplugging and replugging things in, so it's kind of a nuisance. I can't seem to find a board with enough USBs. I know you can get like hubs and adapters, but I just don't want that kind of thing. So that's my first hurdle. The second hurdle, I don't know what board to buy. My friend, and I've heard from some YouTubers and my friend, they detest Gigabyte. I've always bought Gigabyte because they've been good. But my brother's computer is a bit temperamental with hard drives and things. They keep disappearing, which again I believe is motherboard. This one suddenly just cacked it for no reason, has just completely died. At least I assume it's a motherboard. Like I say, the problem is it could be the CPU died and maybe the fault cascaded. I don't know, but I don't really know electronics enough. I kind of get the gist of computing, but only to a rather basic level. And again, like I know electrical, and I've played around. Hang on, this is a very big bit of a sidetrack, but I've been playing around with a CPU for years, as sort of running some electrical stuff. So I've got a reasonable understanding of how to bridge one out and how they work. I'm sorry, that was the camera mount. Yeah. What would you do? Would you try and find another board like this? To be honest, this board has been fine, but I've struggled to find another board the same. Would you? Because this is a Ryzen 7 3800X. It's a bit of an older CPU now, but it's been fine. It's still a decent computer. And a X570GB Aorus motherboard, X570 Aorus Pro, non-Wi-Fi. Again, quite a weird board. It's hard to even find a spec sheet for it on the Gigabyte site. Some people say I've said Gigabyte's shit, so maybe I should move on to something else. But finding an AM4 socket these days, I've always found this. There's a few options, but not many that tempt me, you know? And it could be I could spend £100 or even less and get this all back up and running with a new motherboard, but I'm not sure on the CPU status. Or do I just say, fuck it, dump £500-600 into this and just get a brand spanking new motherboard and an AM5 CPU, like a new Ryzen 7, an 8th or 9th gen. 8 or 9 gen, or even a Ryzen 9. There's a deal on Amazon for about £330. You can get a Ryzen 9 9900X. And I don't know if it's worth doing that upgrade, because the first thing I wanted to upgrade would have been in my GPU, and I've been umming and ahhing upgrading that for quite a few years, because I'm still using a 2060 Super, which has served me incredibly well, to be fair, and is still fine. But obviously I won't really have the money to dump on a GPU once I've just had to bloody replace this lot. The money isn't there at the minute. It really isn't there. So I'm going to have to borrow some money to actually repair this. I've got some work coming up. I've got a lot of work coming up, so I won't even be able to have the time to further diagnose this or even build the new computer if it arrives, to be honest. Well, I'll probably have time to do that, but, you know, it's a bastard. It's really bloody annoying. And I've got other things I want to do. I really want to get on with some life projects. I've been meaning to build a shed for the last 5-6 years, well, a summer house. And we're planning on going away, a possibility of us going away to Europe for a road trip in September, and I need to save for that as well. And here we are, with a computer that has been working absolutely fine for many years, has now just gone kaput. It's working, and now kaput. I just can't, I don't understand what would cause that to happen. I don't understand how. I know there's a lot of components on these boards that could just fail, but I can't, it just boggles my mind that I turned this off and a few hours later turned it on and nothing. Turned it off, no issues, none at all. I think the only issues I've had, very minor issue I've had lately, was if you put the computer to sleep and then rebooted it later on, woke it back up, there was about an 80% chance it would crash randomly, like blue screen. But that was the only thing, so I just didn't really put it on sleep anymore. But even then, it'd last like 10 minutes to maybe an hour before it crashed. So I don't know if that's just an issue with, it could be bloody Windows. I always blame Microsoft, usually. So that could just be Windows. Maybe its little dump file it writes to save its state as such when you put it to sleep. Maybe that has got a problem with it. I blame Windows, that's what I normally do. But this time I don't think I can. Unless something's corrupted the BIOS somehow, but really, would that happen? What would you do? Would you... Okay, money's a small factor in this, but I can probably afford to dump £500 on a couple of new components. Albeit I'll have to borrow it and pay people back, but would you dump the £500, just get a new CPU and motherboard, so you get a decent upgrade? Bearing in mind there's one game I want to emulate, which would very benefit from me doing that. I'd be able to hopefully, be able to emulate that game once I upgrade to the newer generation of Ryzen. And I'm going to go Ryzen, I'm not arguing with that. So that would help, but it's not really the money I wanted to spend right now. I think the worst bit is it halts the channels right up. Like this one, I've got tons of videos to get through. The new channel I want to get the ball rolling on is now held back. Massively held back. And I could go out and film some stuff still, but I got to be wary I don't max out my cards. I mean, I max out both of my phones all the time, and the 128 gig cards, I have SD cards for the cameras, I max them out all the time. I've filmed so much stuff, I don't know how I do it. probably all just gumph and ramble, but anyway, 25 minutes I've been recording and I'm unable to cut that down, so I'm sorry. So if any of you have watched this and have an idea, do let me know. I mean, it's probably not a video that anyone's really going to care for, so yeah. I might have to make a second small video just so people can watch it and they can know. Just so the regulars, hopefully this will be the place to put it up. I might make a couple of short films on it, but to be honest, I never upload enough to TikTok or Instagram anyway, so it probably doesn't really matter. Just let the regulars on YouTube know, I suppose.